Am I going to survive this? You wanted them. You got them. Hot makes, hot takes. Oh, please let me survive this.
You are Locked On West Virginia, your daily podcast on the West Virginia Mountaineers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And what is up? Welcome back in, guys. My name is Mountaineer Paul. I am your mischievous host, and this is Locked On West Virginia, baby, where we're talking about rankings, man, not practice. We're talking about practice. So I thought to myself, you know what would be fun? To just piss a bunch of people off for the weekend. How about that? My family's on vacation. I am home, and I ain't happy about it, so I want to bring you into my misery and we'll do some rankings. So what we're going to do, since the Big 12 decided, hey, we don't want to have a preseason ranking anymore. I do want to touch on that for a second too. I decided I'll do one. And also positional rankings. Where do West Virginia's positional rankings stack up 1 through 16 or 1 through 11? Rankings 1 through 16, positional groupings 1 through 11. Breaking news. Legend Bay has committed to Tennessee, by the way. So we had known for I almost did a video on it today, and I thought, you know what? It's not fair to Legend to go ahead and put this out here now. So I was this close from doing a video early this morning, which it wouldn't have been real big breaking news. A lot of people already knew this, that he wasn't coming to West Virginia, but I thought, you know what? I better just let him do it. Here's how I got him. I sent him a message like 4 or 5 days ago. I said, I set him up with it. I said, man, I'm sorry to hear you're not coming to West Virginia. I was really looking forward to you having a career here, especially after how well your visit went. And he responded, it's all right, man. No big deal. All love this way. So that's how I knew, I guess he just assumed that I didn't know. I didn't know what was going on. I was just fishing. I got it. Yanked it in. But at the end of the day, wish Legend Bay the best. He's, a very talented high school kid. I think Tennessee is a good spot for him. So I do think Rich Rod could have been special, but maybe we'll catch him in the portal the way things are these days. All right, let's get to it, guys. This episode of Locked On West Virginia is going to be brought to you by Game Time. And when it comes to Game Time, I got to be honest, man, they're doing it big as always. And look, all you have to do is download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Thanks for making Locked On West Virginia your first listen, and for being a part of the Locked On Podcast Network. We talk about your team, the Mountaineers, every single day. Ow. That one hurt a little bit. I might have to crack a do already. All right, so let's start off with the positional rankings. This one was kind of fun, but difficult, I'll be honest. And this is a hot piss ranking, right? It's not just any regular ranking. Let's explain what this is. All the way from the beginning like usual. Yep, that's right. Hot piss ranking. How does it work? Well, let me make sure okay. So here's how hot piss ranking works. Each group is scored on the hot piss meter, which ranks as follows. Cold piss is anything 35 or below. Warm piss is from 36 to 38. Hot piss is from 39 to 41. Scorching hot piss, 42 to 44. Boiling hot piss, 45 to 47. And nuclear hot piss, 48 to 50. All right. That's where it's at today. We're talking hot piss. And for those of you that don't know the where that all started, we always preface it just in case there's anybody new in the audience. Whenever Rich Rod got hired, the thing that was said about him was he's 62, but he still pisses hot. So we take that with us on into the future, and we turn it into a hot piss ranking system, which most people like. So that's it. He pisses hot. We make hot piss meters based off of Rich Rod's. By the way, Rich Rod has magma hot piss. It's beyond even nuclear. So we can't get there. We can't get that hot, but we can get up to nuclear. All right. So let's start at the bottom and go to the top. I do have a couple that are tied. So we've only got technically 9. I'm going to start at number 9 with a hot piss meter of 37.9, which is warm piss, the tight end room. I think this is a room that has a ton of potential in it, right? Ton of potential in the tight end room. But nobody, not one person in that room really proven. Ryan Ward's got, he comes in from North Carolina, a lot of potential. We know it. Noah Braham, a very good blocking tight end. Greg Ginross, sure, we know he's got a lot of ability or potential. Grayson Barnes, we just saw him ran a 4.740 the other day. What's he gonna do at the P4 level? He's not exactly, is he an upgrade? I wouldn't say that over Cole Taylor. And then Jacob Barrick, who is also a very good blocking tight end. So, if we had a legit receiving threat in that room, I would place him a little higher for now. But for now, I have to say, and this could change over the summer as we get more information and over the fall, especially when we start hearing how players are doing. Maybe I'll do an updated ranking. But I think the tight ends are the least proven group on the roster. This one's probably going to ruffle some feathers a little, but I've got the special teams unit number 8. But here's why. It's overall impact. Special teams just don't impact the team like other sides of the ball do. Now, they can, and there are games where they make the most impact. And it is one side of the ball, like Dana Holgerson used to say, 3 sides of the ball. I get it. But at the end of the day, while we have Ollie Straw, Ethan Head, Kate Hensley is going to battle for that place kicker duties. We've got Austin Brinkman, who's going to be, obviously a really good player, but overall, there's just not a ton of flash to climb higher on there. Here's where I started to struggle really bad. I got the linebackers at number 7 at a third. Oh, by the way, 37.9, or I'm sorry, a 39 hot piss ranking for the special teams. That's number 7 with a 39.3 hot piss rating for the linebackers. I've got Reed Carrico, Chase Wilson, John Lewis, Ben Cutter, and Ben Bogle in that room. And here's the reason they're not higher. I like the combination of these guys. I really do. I especially like, Chase Wilson a lot and Ben Bogle, as you guys know. But I really wonder about the depth in this room, and I also wonder about the pass coverage in this room. It's absolutely like something falling on my camera here. It's absolutely got some questions, in my opinion. I do think they're going to be a good run-stuffing physical group for sure. I just need to see now if Cam Torber or some of these younger guys can step up, then we're talking. But I don't know that's going to happen early on, and I don't know athletically how they're going to look in coverage. At number 6, with a 40 hot piss, I've got the corners. Yep, that's right. The cornerback room. It's equally hot with 6 seniors. Ton of experience in that room, absolutely, but none at the Power 4 level. I think Michael Coates has had all Big 12, All-American potential. Absolutely. Be poised for a breakout. But, who else is going to step up beside him? We've got guys we think could. Absolutely. We definitely have some guys we believe in that room. I think, if you look at it overall, sure, could a guy like, Derek Carter, is he going to be the guy that steps up? Nick Taylor, is he going to be the guy? I don't know. So, you got some JUCO guys in there, Keyshawn Robinson, Devontae Golden Nelson. Like, you got other guys. I need to see some more from that group for absolutely for sure. So they've got a 40 hot piss rating. Tied with a 40 hot piss rating is 6. At 6 is the quarterbacks. I wanted to prove them high, put them higher, guys. I really did. But it's just not proven. Nico and Jalen, I don't even think they have 1,000 total yards in their career, So um, I like both guys. I think both guys could sneak in and be very productive for us. It's got to be proven on the field. This is a preseason ranking. It's not middle season. It's not late season. It's preseason for a reason. And neither one of these guys have done much, right? Nico's undefeated in starts, but that's a handful of games. Jalen Henderson has about the same amount of games, similar numbers. Like they're very similar in a lot of ways, numbers wise. And then there's always the off chance that a Scotty Fox or even a Max Brown could get into the race. And I've told you guys all off season that Scotty Fox has been heralded as one of the best performers in all of camp. And I've heard that from multiple players. So I don't know if that means he's going to play this year, but Scotty Fox definitely got a bright future. At number 5, with a 40.5 hot piss rating, is the offensive line. I think it's hot, but it needs to gel, right? The talent's there. There's a mix of lower level pieces and SEC depth pieces, right? They've got a couple 2024 returners with Landon Livingston and Nick Cray. But, man, that's 11 players that are going for 5 spots. And, of any positional group on the entire team, you could probably put a number 2 by this one as far as importance, maybe number 1 even, because we run the ball so much. Offensive line is so important. I think we have talent in the room. I think we have 5 guys that are going to be pretty good. But I don't know for sure. I've heard here lately, Kimo Makaniole has gotten a lot of love from, I'm talking everybody. I've heard people tell me he's a great athlete. I've had people tell me that he's not struggling in these conditioning drills, but nobody's put on the pads and actually done anything yet. But it's sounding like, from what I understand, the guys that played in the spring game have a little bit of a leg up, even though they went out and got a bunch of other players. So we'll see. But like Kimo Makaniole, Walter Youngbear, you look at, obviously, Tykees Crawford, Landon Livingston, Nick Cray, like those guys kind of have a little bit of a leg up right now. Xavier Bosley. So that's them. If you move on from there, I've got wide receivers with a 42.3 scorching piss rating, not hot piss for them. They've got a scorching piss rating at number 4. The wide receiver room is heating up fast, in my opinion. Cam Vaughn is super reliable, going to be a weekly performer, in my opinion. But the key is who else emerges. Well, Rodney Gallagher could be a difference maker. We know that in his 3rd year. But how about Logan Ramper, Justin Smith-Brown, and Cam Vaughn all running 4.4 or faster in the 40? That's what excites me. I mean, I'll probably just leave this here for a while, but here it is. Let's look at it again. Look at this receiver room. You've got Gerald Williams running a 4.5 flat, basically. Jeff Weimer running close to that. Armoni Weaver at a 4.62. Cam Vaughn at a 4.41. Logan Ramper at 4.49. Justin Smith-Brown at 4.4. Oron Singleton at 4.5. Camden Pittsburgh at 4.89. God, I hope he's injured. Jordan McCants at 4.58. Christian Hamilton at 4.56. Rodney Gallagher at 4.58. Preston Fox at 4.59. Tyjon Dews at 4.6. Jaden Bray at 4.52. And Gerard Bowie at 4.53. By the way, 4.5 is a really good time for a receiver. You'll take it. There are plenty of receivers in the NFL that survive at that level of speed. And if you go down a 1/10 of a second doesn't sound like a lot to your layman person. It's a couple steps, if not more, in football. So it's a lot. So, but yeah, after that came out, that bumped them up the list for me, because what has Rich Rod said all offseason? Speed, 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 speed. That's what matters. Well, that's what we got in the receiver room. Let's go to break really quick, and we'll do the top 3 on the other side. Who are the top 3 positional groupings on this team, and who's going to make the biggest impact? Then we're going to talk about Big 12 team rankings. Where do I got the Mountaineers? We'll be right back. And this episode of Locked On West Virginia going to be brought to you by Game Time. When you're talking about Game Time, you've got to bring the facts. And let me tell you, have you ever decided at the last minute to head to the ball game with friends or family? Maybe it's game day, and suddenly you realize you want to be in the stands, and that's exactly why Game Time is coming in here hot. It's the easiest way to grab last minute tickets without the stress. With the money you save on tickets, you can splurge on foods, drinks, merch, or even invite the biggest group to come with you. That's right. Game Time makes it possible. Game Time makes buying tickets fast and simple. Prices on the app actually drop the closer you get to the first pitch, believe it or not. And they've got incredible last-minute deals, clear seated views, and a lowest price guarantee that takes the worrying out of buying. Game Time has last-minute tickets and zone deals for big savings like 10% off, exclusive zone deals for FIFA Club World Cup matchups. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time today. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Read the terms, but then create an account, redeem the code LOCKEDONCOLLEG for $20 off today. That way you can download the Game Time app and apply for last-minute tickets at the lowest price. You'll get that guaranteed. And find out the question of questions in life. What time is it? It's game time. In segment 2, we crack a do traditionally on this show because I suffer from mouth dryness. All right, so let's get back to the list, shall we? So top 3 positional groupings on this team, I believe, in my personal opinion. At number 3, this was really hard, by the way. Oh, and quarterbacks and corners were tied at 6, by the way. I had them tied at 6. Number 3, I've got the safeties with the 43.9 scorching piss. That's right. The safety room, I think, is scorching with depth and talent. Fred Perry, we all know him. We all love him. One of the hardest hitters in the country, comes in from Jack State. I think he's going to lock down the nickel spot. Kikora Tarnu, Jordan Walker, Darren Lewis, Justin Harrington, Will Davis are all going to compete for the other couple spots. What about Israel Boyce and Zay Jennings? Pushing them, right? I think this group's got a ton of versatility, and physicality, and I think they're going to be extremely good. As a matter of fact, if Justin Harrington turns into what I think he can, Darren Lewis is what I think he is, I think this has a chance to be the best safety room in the entire Big 12 and maybe one of the country. I really love this safeties room, because there's so many different aspects of it. It's good. Justin Harrington is a 6'3" elite athlete if he's back to 100%. That's what we don't know about him. Is he back to normal, or is he forever damaged from that injury? We don't know. You won't find a guy with more stats than Will Davis had at the FCS level. We know that. We love that. We think he's going to possibly replicate that. And so usually when I talk about Will Davis, I go ahead and go over there to that page just so people can realize exactly what he did, because it's just insane. Like, you won't find numbers like this anywhere in the country, no matter who you look for, that's come up from any level. It's Will Davis. Will Davis at Virginia Union had 126 tackles, 26 tackles for loss, 12 interceptions, 3 interceptions for touchdowns, 3 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, was a 2-time team captain and 2-year starter at Virginia Union. One of the most underrated pickups in the entire offseason from West Virginia. He's a bit undersized, and I think that's one of the biggest question marks, but like, he's another one. If he comes into his own anywhere close to what he was at the next level down, look out for him, because he's an All-American potential player as far as what he did before. Now, I don't know if he'll do it at this level or not, but I have to say, when I look at, let me just share the screen with you guys. It'd be the easiest way to do it. Looking at Will Davis's stuff here, I don't know if I've actually showed it before or not, but he is a kid that I really enjoy watching. He's from a standpoint of he's extremely smart. He does a lot of things that I like. And he is just so smart with the ball. He really is, especially when it comes to looking at quarterback. Um, I just think he's one of those kids that you have to look at. He reads the quarterback so well, and I mean he's a good athlete, as you can see. So Will Davis, I mean, as you can see all the stats right there. So he's a kid that I think if he comes into his zone for us, there's another one that you have to be like, holy cow, man, what is this going on? So I always like to show Will a little bit of love on here because I think he blows me away every time. I don't know this is like a little off track, but this little blitz here, look at the strength here from Will coming off the edge, and then he's somebody. Oh, you're going to try to pass protect? How about I bull rush you into the quarterback and sack the quarterback? So he'd shown to be an elite plus athlete at this level in the past. I'm just curious to see if he'll do it again. Like you see it over and over, though, man. Like he looks like he's a good athlete. I just don't know if it's going to transfer up. So, anyways, not trying to get off on a big tangent as far as that goes. But yeah, I believe for sure that Will Davis has got a shot to be really good for us. Moving on to number 2. I got to put defensive line at number 2 with the 45.5 boiling piss score. The defensive line is headlined by Jamoy Robinson, obviously. And then you've got an SEC starter from Eddie Kelly that comes over from Missouri. Then you've got a stalwart on the defensive line in Eddie V that's there. That's a pretty good trio just in and of itself. And that's not even counting guys that might play on both bandit and defensive line a little bit. Like if you look at a guy like Siders, he could be really good. I think even though he's going to probably play linebacker edge, I do think he could slide in and put his hand in the dirt a little bit if you need him to on pass rushing downs. Elijah Simmons is one of the most underrated pickups we got out of the JUCO ranks. He looks like a tank. Corey McIntyre was some people say the best defensive line on our team the last 2 years, and he's blown out his knee both years or something. He's had 2 season-ending surgeries in a row. So that's not great, but like you let Neil Brown and those guys tell it, Corey McIntyre was going to be a superstar, both freshman and redshirt freshman years. So, and then Nick Gabriel played a bunch of snaps as a freshman last year. You could just go on and on and on about him. Marshawn Oxley, Keenan Eck, which those are more edge guys. What are these guys going to look like? There's a lot to like, man. There's a lot to like. And then you get into the defensive ends, especially like we talked about Eddie Kelly, Jamoy Robinson, but what about Adam Tomchek, Asani Redwood, Hammond Russell, Quentin Goins, Wilson Telemack, Taylor Brown, Carter Zulian, and Brandon Caesar. Like they have got so many bodies in that room, I think that'll be ready. It's going to be interesting. Very interesting in that room. And which is why I had him number 2 on the whole team. Almost had him at number 1. But I think after the proceedings over the weekend, I've got to give it to, I just have to for now, until further notice, the running back room with a 48.2 nuclear hot piss rating. This is my personal opinion. But I think this group is an absolute inferno. Jaheim White is the best running back in the Big 12 this year. I'm going to predict that right here, right now. The only way that doesn't happen is if all these other really good players don't come along and take things away from him. And divert your eyes, if you will, back to the 40 times, which aren't everything. I'm not saying they're everything, guys. But I do think they give us an idea, right? It gives you some framework. You've also got the 10-yard splits on here, which are very important for running backs and receivers. You start with Jaheim White at a 4.4840 and a 1.52 10-yard split time. You move to Jalen Knighton at a 4.58, which is a good time, and a 1.54 for 10-yard split time. You got Cannon Katzer at a 4.56 and a 1.55 10-yard split. You got Dior Hubbard at a 4.640 at 1.53, which means he's a little quicker. He's like Jaheim White quick, and that shows on tape. Um, then you move on to Ty Edwards, who is 6'3", 240 pounds, and runs a 4.640. Guys, really good tight ends, fast tight ends run that, right? Like if you see a tight end like Travis Kelsey, right in that 4.6 range in his prime, and he looked really fast at times on the field. That's because 4.6 is not slow. So, Ty Edwards is basically the size of a tight end, plays running back, and runs a 4.6, and his 10-yard split is close to the other guys. Sincere Bowers, guys, you guys know I beat the drum for him all offseason long. Will continue to do so. I think he's got the most potential of anybody in that room, and that includes Jaheim White. I've said it all year. I'm not going to quit saying it. If I end up being wrong someday, I end up being wrong. And he ran a 4.35, which is just incredible. Truly, truly incredible. And a 1.49 10-yard split. That means he's got elite quickness, elite burst, elite acceleration, and elite speed. And I've shown you guys this tape more than anybody on this channel. I have. I know I have. But there's a but. We're gonna show a couple plays one more time, just because I think when I look at my analytics, it tells me that 80% of the time I've got new people watching, right? So, for context sake, I like to just show a couple plays just so people can get an idea for what I'm talking about from him. We're not going to play the whole clip like usual, but when it comes to Sincere Bowers, this is 4.35 speed, and then you look at the way he cuts with the ball. In space, kickoff return, punt return, the whole thing. And then the picture starts to come clear. Holy crap, what's this kid going to do at running back in Rich Rod's offense? Like, he looks so much like Tavon does from a size and speed standpoint. Like I say every time when I say that, I don't mean he's ever going to be as good as Tavon. I don't think we'll ever have somebody that explosive ever again. But this kid has that skill set. As you can see here, he just absolutely crop dusts everybody all the way to the end zone. It's not even close. Crop dust is probably a bad way to say that, but you guys know what I mean. Here he is on kickoff return, and I think you get a true sense for a few different things. It's his cutting ability. As you can see him cut up into the hole here. Guy makes guys miss. But, I mean, he's just moving at a different gear than other guys. You can see 25's on his hump here, or 26 or whatever it is. But, he's got no shot. I just want to keep pounding it into your brains, guys. Here's another reason why I think Sincere Bowers is going to be extremely valuable to us. You bring him in. Let's say he's our third running back even. I think he'll probably get there or share as long as he stays healthy. He runs routes like a receiver. Watch this move he puts on the backer here with that, the cut. It's just a one cut. But watch how bad he's reaching on this cut. Whoa. And he just flies by this dude. And once he gets the ball in his hands, it's absolutely over with. I don't care if this is a power 4 level or where you're at. That kid gets in the open field, it's over with. So if he can learn the plays, that's really all I need to see anyways from him. This play here, I think, gives you an idea as well as his cutting ability. Watch how he cuts these, makes these cuts here. Boom. I wish I could bring everybody. Nope. I can't play that. That'll get me in trouble. Boom. Boom. Right? You can just see him. I like that camera angle because I think it gives you a great idea for how he moves. So anyways, move off Sincere Bowers here. But, I think the reason I have our running back room rated so highly is because of, had Sincere Bowers not come along, to be honest with you guys, I would have said similar things for I would say I have similar things to say for Ty Edwards, right? I think he's a guy I really have a lot of respect for as well. So, there's a lot to talk about with this group, right? And I think that they deserve number one for now. We'll see what happens with them going forward. That's the rankings. We'll go over them one more time. Running backs number one, D line number two, safeties number three. I think wide receivers have made a big jump due to the three guys that run 4-4. And then everybody else runs 4-5, basically. Like we've got 4-5 or below, and that's it at wide receiver. Like that's we haven't got a speed issue at wide receiver no more, like we have had. You go look at Justin Robinson and guys like that the last couple of years. Those were 4-6, 4-7 guys, guaranteed. Four receivers, five offensive line, six is cornerbacks and corner and quarterbacks tied. Seven linebackers, eight special teams, nine tight ends. So we'll go to break one more time. Coming back on the other side, I'm going to give you my Big 12 overall rankings. Where do I have the Mountaineers? Who do I have winning this thing? We'll talk about it next. All right, guys, we are back here locked on West Virginia. Thank you guys for joining in on this episode. We got a lot of people in here tonight, which is fun for me since we don't always have that going on. Now, here's what I did. I went ahead and I took all the magazines that I could get today. I couldn't find every one of them. Phil Steele's, I didn't get, or no, I got Phil Steele's. I got, let's see, I got Athlon, Phil Steele, and ESPN's rank. And I took the average of all those, and then I had it spit out what the average was. So from each magazine and also overall. So if you look at Iowa State overall, out of all the magazines, they're number one. Athlon had them ranked 4. Phil Steele had them ranked 2. ESPN had them ranked 3. So they get the number 1 spot, right? And so on and so forth. So I'm going to give you that. And then I'm also going to give you my rank. So Iowa State 1, Baylor 2, Arizona State 3, Kansas State 4, Utah 5, Texas Tech 6, BYU 7, TCU 8, Kansas 9, Colorado 10, Cincy 11, Houston 12, West Virginia 13, Oklahoma State 14, UCF 15, Arizona 16. Okay, so I'm doing this off the top of my head, right? Because I had 2 different screens for this, and I accidentally exited out of mine. I know where I had West Virginia, but I don't remember exactly where I had everybody else. So it's fine. I know how I feel about every team as it is anyway, and I do this all the time. But I'll just go through this list and kind of take it apart as we go. I don't have Iowa State at number 1. I know they're returning a lot. Yeah, I really do. I do. They always seem to not get it done. You know, they had every reason to do it last year with the team they had, the receivers they had. Heacock runs that defense very well. I just think they're not the number 1 team in this conference, and I think Arizona State has earned that. They've got the quarterback. They've earned it until otherwise spoken. By the way, the reason I'm doing this is because the Big 12, if you didn't know, has decided to do away. I almost did an entire show on this because I think it's interesting as the psychology in this, but the Big 12 has decided to do away with preseason polls because, well, I mean, if you look even a couple years ago, West Virginia was picked, whatever we were picked. We won 9 games, right? Neil Brown got up on the press conference and said, this is crazy. Last year, Arizona State was picked last and won the entire thing. And I think they've realized that we suck at this. Nobody's good at it. I guarantee you my list is going to be jacked up. And it only hurts the team, really. Like it may help some teams, but it may help the wrong teams. And it may hurt some teams, but it may hurt the wrong teams. So why would you want to hamper Arizona State with a 16 preseason media poll win? That's going to be said in almost every article going forward until the season starts, right? Preseason pick 16th, blah, blah, blah team. And so what it takes is in the minds of voters, in the minds of other people, that becomes fact for some people. And I think it's just the human nature of it. I think people will think you're that bad for a while until a few games into the year. And instead of being ranked like you should be, maybe 3, 4 games into the year, you're just crawling out of the depths of the basement like Arizona State. What if Arizona State was ranked where they should have been last year, which is probably like, I mean, obviously in hindsight, let's say they were ranked third or fourth. Well, don't you think they'd have been ranked a lot faster? Probably. We're talking about not just the Big 12, but everywhere. Just interesting to note. All right, back to the ranking. I've got Arizona State at 1. I've got Kansas State at number 2. I just, Kleiman's in this thing every year. He really is. And I just have a feeling that he's probably going to be in it again. It's just the way it is, man. I've got Iowa State at 3, right? So that's Arizona State, Kansas State, Iowa State. I guess you need a state by your name. Then you get into 4, and I think there's a ton of interesting names you could put there, but I'm going to go BYU 4. If they had their quarterback, it would be a different deal, but unfortunately not, right? So this is where it gets interesting for me because I think this is all crapshoot at this point, really. It really is once you get to here, especially. I'm going to go Baylor here. I just think that they have a lot returning. They've got a good quarterback. I don't know if Miranda's turned it around or not. I don't know if I trust him for a championship, but Baylor obviously earned a spot in the top 5 or 6. And then it starts to get even more tough. But, so far that's Arizona State, that's Kansas State. I'm trying to do this in my memory, so I may forget one already, but that's Arizona State, that's Kansas State, that's Arizona State, Kansas State. I should have probably typed these out as I done them. Actually, that's what I'm going to do down below here. Arizona State, Kansas State. Then I had Iowa State 3. At number 4, I had BYU. Number 5, I had where was it? I know I just said it. Baylor. That's right. Okay, so at number 6, I'm probably going to go with. It's so tough, man. I'm going to go Kansas. I'm not a big believer in some of these other teams, especially when you look at like Utah. I don't know why everybody has them back up where they are. I mean, they've had a great recruiting off season and all that, and they've got a great offensive line. I do know that, but I need to see them do it in the Big 12. They haven't been good in the Big 12, and I want to see them do it. And plus, I like hating on Utah anyway. Oh man, I'll tell you, I got to go. As I sit here and think about it, I even get more convinced. I think West Virginia is at least 7th in this conference. Something about it, man. I've said all along, I think we finish in the top 8, which could be anywhere from 6 to 8 wins, I think. And that includes we could even lose a non-conference game and still do that, right? But I'll say West Virginia at number 7. I'm not trying to be a homer. I'm being objective. Most fans would put them up higher, I feel like. At number 8, I'll go Texas Tech. I think they bought a lot of really good, and they could be the best team in the league. I'm not saying they won't be. They absolutely could be, but until proven otherwise, I'm going to see what all that buying such a good team looks like. I mean, they had, they did the same thing last year, and they weren't as good. And then at number 9, I'll go with. I wish I had my list. Utah. Yeah, Utah. I'll go there. Utah number 9, TCU number 10. And you could it's just so subjective at this point. Colorado 11, Cincy 12. Actually Oklahoma State 12. and I should probably have them higher, to be honest. I really should have Oklahoma State higher. I did on my other list. I had them at 8, I think. It's funny how your mind changes from one list to the next. If you throw your list away and fill it out again a second time, you'll probably swap a few teams in and out. So Colorado, Oklahoma State, um, then Cincy, then Houston, um, then UCF and Arizona. Yeah. So that's the list. I think Arizona's earned the last place ranking. Uh, and just like some people feel like we maybe have, I don't know, but it's Arizona State, Kansas State, Iowa State, BYU, Baylor, Kansas, West Virginia, Texas Tech, Utah, TCU, Colorado, Oklahoma State, Cincinnati, Houston, UCF, and Arizona. That's where we're at, guys. We'll see what happens with it. Absolutely, for sure. And I get that their roster is loaded, man. I know Texas Tech's roster is loaded. It is. You're right. But in year one, what does that really mean? We've seen it before. I did a video a week or two ago on this. The top 4 playoff teams all had well over 70% of their roster was non-portal, right? It broke it down. I can go get it again, but basically of the playoff teams, I think there were 3 teams that had a significant amount of portal, more portal than not. The rest were all high school, homegrown, with some portal to fill in the blanks. Like I want to say, like Ohio State had like 11 guys they brought into the portal, but they were 11 big ones, right? So they were either plugging holes or big time starters like Caleb Downs. So, I think that's where Rich Rod's trying to get, which is why he said next year West Virginia is going to be heavy into high school and a little bit of portal, because I think he realizes long term you can't win at a high level with just portal unless contracts come into play. And we can talk about that another time. But, if contracts come into play and you can bring a kid in that's a sophomore or something and keep him from 2 years, sure, then you're talking. Then you can keep players together more than just 1 year at a time. Then you can buy players more. But till then, just 1 year at a time, you got to fill holes. Yeah, I do think CJ will play for Ohio State this year, Dylan. I do. He's a very good player, a great athlete. But I mean, I don't think he'll be a superstar. I could be wrong. I mean, they've got the players to do it. Maybe it was Neil Brown using him wrong. I don't know. I always thought that we should have put him back at tight end, if you want to be honest. I thought he would have been better back at tight end, but that was just my opinion, because he kept getting hurt because he didn't know how to run the ball inside without protect his lower body. He kept getting hurt. Running backs know how to take hits in the lower body, in the hole and things, and CJ didn't. All right, guys, that's all I got. Hope you enjoyed the list. We got 500 of you guys watching, so if you could like the video, please, before you go, subscribe if you're new around here. By the way, once we get to 500 or 5,000 subscribers, I'm giving away $50. Okay. I can keep track back 150 subscribers all the way. I can go back all the way to 0 if I want. What I'm saying is I said it a week ago, the last 150 people to subscribe will all be on a wheel to get $50. I'll pay you in PayPal. I'll do it live on the show, as a matter of fact. And you can say I got it if you want, or I didn't get it. He's scamming me, whatever you want to do. But all you got to do is subscribe if you're not subscribed. If you're over on YouTube or if you're on X, come over to YouTube at Locked On West Virginia. And then that's good to go. That's all I need from you. Other than that, guys, I don't have a lot else for you. I appreciate you being here. I feel like I'm missing something. We talked about Legend Bay. Arturo Dean, the basketball player, Miami. I've heard conflicting things on that. I had one person tell me today it's 60-40 Miami. And then I had another separate person that are nowhere near close to mutual to those two, to that person say, no, it's 50-50. So um, I think West Virginia is really in it. I don't know financially what it is, but I do think we're definitely in it. I just don't know as to what extent. We'll find out, I think Monday, is what I'm hearing. A Monday, we should know something. So let's keep an eye on that as well. All right, guys. I will be back tomorrow. Hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend. Um, and I'll be back for another show tomorrow for sure. All right, guys. Have a great one. I'm out of here.